wild. Listen to them waiting for us to come out on stage. Do you hear that crowd?
And we're live. It is noon, so we're right on time. Hello, everybody out there. The what?
Can you hear me?
It keeps cutting in and out.
Okay. That's not me singing. That's Whitney Houston.
Exactly.
I was lip syncing.
So we are live. You know what? I'm going to go to my page right now and I'm going to see if anybody's there. So everybody, welcome to the K&L Effect. We just came up on basically, was it 4 full weeks of basically going into all these, 5 weeks, basically these inner blocks that we have. And today, what we're so excited about is we're switching it up. And today is going to be all about what we're calling unconventional wisdom. And that was, unconventional wisdom is something that it's not like we created it or came up with it, but our format today is going to be pretty spontaneous, let's say. So hi, I'm Kevin with 2 Steps Forward Coaching, and I am with
Lauren with LBW Coaching.
And we're here to obviously be chatting and connecting with you. So if you're out there, by all means, make yourself known. You can like, share, comment, anything, and we are ready to get started. Are you ready?
We should welcome Australia. They always make such an effort to show up, and I feel like that's all of our friends. I just feel like we should say thank you. We're so glad to share this time with you for our followers in Australia. And the UK. Sorry.
The UK, Australia. We have a lot of people we know, I think from Ireland. I think we've got some huge fans in Israel that are joining us today. So we're going.
Shalom, my friends.
We are international. We're taking the world by storm, the K&L Effect. So we're coming, hopefully we'll be coming live once COVID allows us to, coming live to, who knows, a theater near you, a performing arts space near you. So, all right, today's topic is it's a random topic. So our format is now, instead of discussing something very specific that's coaching related, we are going to choose a quote from this amazing book called Unconventional Wisdom that we did receive as a gift from our training, our iPEC training. And so this did come from iPEC. And so what we're going to do is it's like open mic. It's kind of like open mic. Jump in when you want, say what you want. And if you're out there listening, of course, we want you to weigh in as well. We'd love to
share in the comments. I have my Facebook up, so I'm going to try that so I can see what comments, because I missed them last time and I'm so frustrated that I'm trying to figure out all these components. And don't forget your lunch, because we said bring your lunch. What did you bring?
And if whatever you're eating, hopefully you're enjoying it and it's delicious.
Did you bring anything to eat?
I don't have anything to eat. I did have my cup of coffee, but I've already finished pretty much. I mean, this is my 3rd cup this morning, believe it or not. So let me start, Lauren. What I'm going to do is I want to throw this out to you and just whatever your guttural instinctual response is, just start responding. And so here it is. And this actually is a quote from Bruce Schneider, who is the founder of iPEC. And so if you're not familiar with him, check him out. Very interesting man. And so here is the quote. Look past your reflection in the mirror and see the truth. I am always and in all ways greater than I think I am. Mind blown.
You might as well drop the mic and leave.
So what comes up when I say like, this is look past your reflection in the mirror and see the truth? What does that, what's that bring up for you?
Everybody should know this is improv conversation, because I said to Kevin, don't tell me what you're going to say, because yeah, that doesn't work. And then I start worrying. So for me, I think it's look past what you see in the mirror, which I actually love, because hold on, I'm getting overwhelmed by all of the thoughts. I sometimes think that we look in the mirror and we have such a distorted image of what we see, and we get blocked by what it is we see. We see our image and we judge ourselves so harshly that we don't even get past that exterior, which is completely skewed anyway. But then when you look past that, there is no real exterior. All of who I am is what's on the inside. My exterior is merely a shell that I carry my spirit in. And it's so hard for people to get past that and to know that we are not this space. Yeah, I love how vast that is, that I am. And and actually for me, I love the gift of knowing that we are all this amazing being, so much greater than we ever thought we were, because we are often blocked by that image.
And for me, when I like, what definitely came up for me immediately when it said, look past your reflection in the mirror and see the truth, is this whole idea that what we think or believe to be really true about who we are actually are just the stories that we have believed about ourselves, and that if they're not serving us, and so in a way, if you're looking past that, right, and you're actually getting to your real truth, like the person you really are, not the person you think you are, that to me is what, for me, that signifies that it's that work of understanding that immediately when you look in a mirror and you just like are looking at the surface, like you mentioned, you may be thinking that I am X, I am this, or I'm not beautiful. That might be a good example. And then I'm, or you may look in your mirror and say, God, I'm gorgeous. There's so many ways to cut it.
Which still does not mean you're beautiful, because if that's what you're looking at and you're not looking at the stuff behind that, that's a whole other. What you see in the mirror is not who you are.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying is I think that immediately it brings up something for so many people when they look in the mirror. And I'm thinking, funny, I just watched, I'm a huge fan of the show on Netflix with Dr. Nazarian, and she is like a board certified plastic surgeon. And she is one of the most beautiful human beings, because what she gets into is your inner beauty. So her practice is actually more founded on coupling before a person, her last resort actually is like putting someone under the knife for plastic surgery, because she understands that a lot of the battles that someone may be dealing with are actually more inner battles, and what someone actually believes about who they are, what they look like, and how they feel, versus what they would look like if they had whatever that surgery was completed, because it doesn't make them complete. It doesn't actually get to the root cause of the issue. And so that I just made an analogy there. So check her out. I'm like huge fan, Dr. Nazarian. If you need a coach, I'm here for you, girl. I got your back. It's called, oh my God, what's the name of that? I cannot remember. And there's Jamie, Dr. Jamie, and she's a nurse, but Dr. Nazarian is just, it's something about her beauty when she speaks. She has such humility and such a deep sense of who she is, and that she knows that she's solving something bigger for people when they're coming to her, that isn't just about making them look from an exterior point of view beautiful, or fixing that problem. It's connected to so many other factors, like we were just talking about with this idea of looking in the mirror, right? And so for me, I don't know, I just made that connection with her show because it actually ties nicely, because that's part of the piece that people, I think we all need to work on, is that inner component. And so in understanding, if we believe something to be true about ourselves, we really should go deeper and understand and investigate like how true some of those things really are that we believe about ourselves, especially again, if it's something that is holding you back from doing something that you want, or something or a person that you want to be, because you are that person.
Right, especially if it's in you and it's something that you want. If that is something that's inside of you and it's a desire that you have and somehow it's manifested itself into your mental space, are you honoring what it is your spirit is saying to you? You know, like if it's made its way all the way there, what are you doing about it? It's there for a reason.
Absolutely.
I showed you, this is really interesting. And this is, I mean, I'm not trying to stick completely on how we look at ourselves completely externally, but a friend of mine just turned 50. Her name is An, and I just saw her last weekend with Tracy. And my daughter is getting married, and they were there in the delivery room when I had my daughter. They're my soul sisters. And they sent a picture. So my daughter sends out her invitation, and they send me back a picture of the three of us with Sydney. Sydney was like 3, which means I had to be like 28. I can tell you my entire life I struggled with body image issues. When didn't you say something to me about that? And not that, but somebody did. I saw, she sends me this picture, and I looked at myself and I was like, holy crap. You look so pretty. And you there was no weight issue, but what I saw through the filters that I had carried with me from my past distorted what I looked like so much that I looked back and was like, wow, it's amazing how I actually never saw who I really was. I saw something completely different until I started to challenge the validity of what it was I was assessing as beautiful. It just, and did I show you that picture of my friends?
I don't think you showed me the picture, but I think what's interesting when I hear you say that too, is that because you believe that about yourself, imagine how you were actually showing up then. And that's the piece where that's the power of these things. Like you said, when we look in the mirror, and if we believe it to be true about ourselves, at least that's the story that we're telling ourselves, then if you then take that one step further and think like, okay, after I looked in the mirror, I had an interview, or I went to go do something, how you're showing up in those moments is coming from that type of a belief about who you are. And so everything's interconnected, but I guess that to me is also the power of this, is that, so many people I think can relate to, for example, them saying like, oh, I could never do whatever because I'm afraid, or I'm not good enough, or I don't have the confidence to do it. And so what ends up happening is you just stay where you're at. And so for me, that piece of this is the piece that's so powerful, because once you're able to just see see who you really are, not who you think you are, it starts to basically create space where possibility can come from. And that to me, like, it's such a beautiful thing, right? To think that like you would be able to create a space where you actually could create something and not be stopped by your own, beliefs, the person who you think you are versus yes. That's another way to put it, exactly, is that bullshit that needs to just
like somebody told you this, somebody told you that, you felt this way, and so that's all your truth. Those are your little T's, and you're actually, I love what you said, we are actually the embodiment of opportunity, complete unlimited possibility. Like imagine if we just
Right.
work on shifting all of that bullshit.
You could liken it too to almost like an inner light, right? Like that we all have light. And sometimes when we come from that place where we're just looking in the mirror and not in thinking that we're all of these things that we believe to be true about ourselves that aren't filling us up. I'm saying it from the point of view that are really draining you or taking away your energy. For example, your light is dimmed. And so it also creates a certain amount of like you said, I almost like, if I continue with the analogy, it's almost like it's so dimly lit that you can't see where you're going. There's no clarity. And so you kind of just stay where you're at because you're like, well, at least I can just see immediately around me. But if you were to tap into and unlock those pieces of, oh my God, I'm so much more than this, what I was telling myself. And now I have this beam of light that's just radiating, right? Like this radiating, pulsing light that's allowing you to forge your own path and see where you need to go, even when you may not even know what's in front of you. That's right. That's what makes it even more powerful, right? Is it doesn't,
because you're blocked by your
right.
limitations.
And so
what if the mirror is like your starting point and your life begins past the mirror?
It does. I mean, it for a lot of people, that, I mean, for all of us, I mean, we again, I'm not talking as if like, you know, I definitely have had some really dim light. I mean, I know that I think I've always had a beautiful light inside of me, and I have honored that part of myself. But I also have had moments in my life where I definitely believe that I believed in things that I was like, you know, this is it, that were holding me back. That's what I would say. That were not allowing me, like you said, to go after things in a much more confident, bigger way. And not bigger in success or money, bigger in personal fulfillment and joy and inner peace. That's yes. I mean, not in like, you know, my bank account terms. That's definitely not what, you know, when I say that, that's not what I'm. So, Lauren.
Are you giving me another one?
No. So the second piece of this, and maybe we already kind of discussed it, was, and I am always and in all ways greater than I think I am.
Yeah, that was a given. But I think you have to be willing to embrace that, because I can say that I didn't know that piece. Nobody ever told me that caveat. And so until you share that caveat, somebody wouldn't know that that's possible. I mean, maybe somebody does. I mean, I think we all come from different backgrounds, different experiences, but for those that struggle on that journey, until somebody tells you you can, you wouldn't know you could. And
that's a really important piece, I think, of the puzzle here, right? Is that's why sometimes we have these blinders in a way, is because you almost like sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and we all fall into that trap because it's this part of life.
Line.
And if your parents, what?
That's my favorite line.
Right.
You don't know what you don't know.
And if you never really witnessed it from these, you know, role models that we all had growing up, whether it's parents, it could, you know, not parents, family in general, aunts, uncles, grandparents, or even sometimes your peer groups that you were around, that, you know, that's where sometimes too, that we all have these kind of blinders on in a way of what we think something is versus what it is. It's because it's like those shitty hand-me-downs is what it is. And I say that like it's clothes because it kind of does get handed down without us even really knowing. That's what it is, because it's a part of, you know, our consciousness and what we believe. So it's one of those things where you're like, well, you know, if I could say, you know what, I don't want that shitty hand-me-down, I want this. Well, you know what we're saying is, once you start to look past all this, you can actually determine that, you know what, I don't want the shitty hand-me-down.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I don't want that shitty hand-me-down theory.
Because I used to get them all the time from my brother. I remember I would get his damn jeans. I'm like, why would I want to wear a pair of jeans that have been worn, you know, a million times over by my brother?
Well, financially.
Let's not talk about bathing suits. That's just weird.
Yeah, no, bathing suits are a separate topic for this show. I do love that that's what rules are we living by that are limiting beliefs that are like literally shitty hand-me-downs, you know, like I get that you had to, like, we didn't always have a lot of money. So my mom, I always got clothes from Marla Robbins, you know, and it was just a really difficult time for me with the burgundy corduroys. And I had, you know, I understand that those maybe were my choice, but I could choose not to wear those burgundy corduroys if I decided to wear the skirt a couple of days. So we do have some choices in the shitty hand-me-downs.
That's true.
Certainly in the conscientious world that we're working in. I like that. What shitty hand-me-downs are you living by?
Right. And so, I mean, the message is, if you're out there and you're hearing this now or on the replay, you don't need to accept or keep dealing with those shitty hand-me-downs. That's the whole idea, is you can pick something new and beautiful and whatever you're really attracted to in terms of what fills you up and makes you, you know, just again, like radiate with light. We were talking about that earlier. So that's the idea here, is that you don't have to. And unfortunately, what tends to happen is people just keep going through their life thinking that all they have are those shitty hand-me-downs, and that's it. And they continue to take care of them, to nurture those shitty hand-me-downs, and those shitty hand-me-downs are the pieces that again don't really give you a lot of joy and happiness in the end. They kind of just keep you going through the motions.
So, well, hold on. So we're preaching a lot.
Yes.
Let's throw in some coach stuff.
Yeah.
How do you release the shitty hand-me-down?
Ooh, the shitty hand-me-downs are like.
How many times have we said shitty hand-me-down?
I know is it clear to everyone that we really are making this? We're making a big analogy here. The shitty hand-me-downs. I think it's a process. It's such an individual process for every single person. But I mean, one of the main ways that you can do that, and we have talked about this before, if you would watch some of our previous videos, and some of you may have, but the idea is just first understanding that they exist. So first piece is just awareness. I mean, just if you can get to awareness, that's majority of the battle.
What does awareness look like? I think we talk about that also. And I think that that's a beautiful kind of blanket statement, is create the awareness. Okay, so this is what awareness feels like. I have to. I should. I hate this. I don't want to. Why do I have to? I can't. And then notice when you say things to yourself that you're literally like, ugh. And so that's an awareness. That's your body, your spirit, your whatever saying, no, I don't like this. This isn't working for me. And that's awareness. Notice when it doesn't work for you. If it is not working for you, start peeling back the layers. Awareness is, when you're not okay.
I don't know. And it's coming to me right now when you're talking, Lauren, that if you had a choice, right, and something that you really wanted, and you're sitting there telling yourself, like, this is what it sounds like. I really can't because of X reason. Would you really? I mean, if you had a choice, would you want to say I can't or I can if it's something that you really want? I mean, I know it sounds like, that makes it sound like it's so easy, like just choose I can. But when you stop to think about it, it's like, how many times do people really stop? Like we've all done it. I'm not saying we've done it. I've done this myself. It's not like I'm, here, always living in an I can world, because there's always something new in front of you that you have to face, in terms of your own personal growth and your journey. But do you get what I'm saying? Like,
No, 100%.
if you had a choice, God, imagine how many times in one day someone is sitting in their awareness saying to themselves, I can't do that. I could never do that.
Versus, so again, telling people that idea is wonderful. What's after that? What's after that is notice again that you're saying that. And I can tell you right now, if I may share a story, as I'm working on my challenge and putting it up, I got very stuck with the fact that I could not get my program developed when I wanted to have it done. And I got very stuck in there and was like, I can't. And then I let go of all the expectations that I put on myself of what I thought I needed to do. And I decided to kind of go at it. I was concerned about making videos and the technology and the words and how to lay it out. And I said, whoa, I can't is a general umbrella statement that serves no one. It becomes, how can I? And so I started to shift. I accepted the fact that I was frustrated. And then I shifted into, how do I chunk this so I can? I don't have to like go from here to here in one fell swoop. You break it up into little pieces that are manageable, doable, and it's, little pieces that allow you to get to where it is that you can get to. So for me, that's where I was.
Just challenge, right? Challenge, if you really challenge. I think the other piece, and that, we haven't really talked about too, is someone's intention and motivation to want to address it. Because right there, that's part of this whole equation, is once you have awareness too, if you really want to challenge these things that, when we just take for granted, when we look in the mirror and we say, I'll never, I can't, I shouldn't. And again, we all do it. You also have to, I think, understand that where by trying to, or by at least having the motivation to tackle that and start to unravel like what's behind that, it's really about you kind of loving yourself almost. That's a place where I guess I go, is it's a sense of almost like self-care. Does that make sense?
100%, because really the fact that you're saying I can't comes from something else. So where is the I can't coming from? The I can't is coming from a message somewhere in your history, that blueprint of an experience that you had where either it didn't work out for you when you tried it the first time, or somebody told you it didn't work out, or it didn't measure up, or you were scared and you didn't even try. So what are the messages where are the messages coming from? And you really have to say, why is it that I think I can't? And that you have to actually address also, so that you know what that block is, so that as you move forward, you're releasing them, you're reframing them, you're giving some new definitions, putting some new affirmations in that empower you. You're challenging the validity of, again, the bullshit that's not working for you. Because really, I think I'm coming up with a huge philosophical statement. Truth is so personal, and you can believe something to be truth. And if that's how you live your life, then that is your truth. And we all choose our truth. So you choose to believe you can't, or you choose to believe you can. And it's not that simple, but it is true. If you decide you can't, you're not gonna.
And that get back to what I was saying, right? Is if you do have a choice, And God, if you did have a choice, wouldn't you want to turn that I can't into an I can, especially if it's something that is really meaningful to you, that you really want? Again, if it's not something that you want, it probably doesn't make that big of a difference because it's not having the same effect in your life. But if it does, but at a minimum, you deserve it. You deserve it for yourself. You deserve it to yourself to say, you know what? I'm gonna love myself. And I you know what? I want to understand like why. So why is it that I believe that? You know, why, where did that come from? And this is not to be confused with the big T truth, which is like gravity, which is undeniable, right? There is pure scientific evidence that this actually exists, and it's non-refutable. So I just want to put that out there so that it's clear to people that we're not talking about gravity, because that is not. It is what it is. It is a fact that it exists.
That's a big T.
So, thank you to Einstein for all of
such a nice man,
his miraculous work that he did and his contributions to the world. And so, yeah, so let's talk a little bit, Lauren. I want to talk. So here, what I want to talk about is, and I'm throwing this out there right now. So this is, again, live, it's extemporaneous. None of this is really planned. So this weekend, I think we had talked about doing a special edition. Am I correct?
Oh, was that this weekend? Yeah, let's do it.
And hopefully you're in agreement here, because we should, of course we plan things in the background in terms of like us coming together. But this weekend, you're not going to want to miss it, because we're going to spend a half hour actually sharing with you our upcoming challenges, and you're not going to want to miss it.
Yeah.
So
that's exciting.
Yeah. So Lauren will be spending 15 minutes. It'll be a half hour long, but I'm going to give her 15 minutes, and it's going to be kind of Q&A style, asking her about your challenge, which is.
Yeah. All right. I was eating my lunch, but that's okay.
That's all right. Just take your time.
I'm doing a 14-day challenge called Everything You. And it's about, while I do focus on women, of course, men are welcome to join. My focus is on the women who, or the person who is everything to everyone. We are living in such crazy times. We are like shapeshifters, being the mother, the wife, the caregiver, the employee, the boss, the volunteer, the PTA president. We're everything to everybody, kind of making sure everybody else has their needs and taking care of what everybody else wants. And then when you sit back, you don't even know what you want. You're in this mental, emotional chaos of taking care of everything else. And I want to spend 14 days kind of getting back to who we are and rebuilding our inner self, so that as we then move forward, we move forward with a greater intention and clarity through our lives. And that then opens up greater possibilities for us, because I think we tend to get lost in being everything to everyone else. So it's time to be everything for you.
I love it. And so we're going to do 15 minutes each, and it's going to be Q&A style, where you can actually learn more about the ins and outs of the challenges, like how it's going to work, what are some of the things, what are like some of the big things that will be addressed. And I will be sharing my Courage and Clarity. It's the Clarity and Courage 10-day challenge for LGBTQ plus professionals. And you're not going to want to, this is one of the most amazing 10-day challenges, in that how many times in your professional life do you actually get the space to do some real inner reflection on your career, where you want to be in your career, and also what's shaping how you are showing up in your career. So it's going to be a lot about understanding your overall levels of satisfaction in certain areas. What are your professional values, and are you really living those values through the job in your career that you currently have? So it's going to be jam-packed full of some amazing exercises over 10 days that will allow you to gain so much emotional intelligence, which is really a key factor in success in general, is understanding who you are and how you're showing up as a professional. So you're not going to want to miss it. We're going to do this, more to come on date and time, but it'll be this weekend and we'll be live again. And so if you'd love to join
Around
us, and you're on the,
11-ish.
I'm sorry?
I'm good around 11-ish. What about you?
I'd have to
We
look.
can
I think,
confirm later. Are we
yeah,
doing
we'll confirm
earlier?
later.
Okay.
But you're not going to want to miss, you're going to want to come, because if that sounds appealing to you, well, of course, come and listen and ask questions. You can ask questions to either one of us about our programs and what that might mean for you, because these programs are all about you. I mean, they're coming from, of course, our personal experiences and what we've gone through as individuals, but it is about you. And so we will see you this weekend. And we'll let you know the date and time. We're going to publish that so everybody understands. But you can always reach out to us. You can, private message us, email us.
Keep doing that. I know a lot of times these opportunities with Kevin and I will talk, and it'll definitely spark information. Do not hesitate to reach out to Kevin or to myself to get some clarity on any of the issues that have come up, on addressing how to move through, create the awareness, how to shift your beliefs. If you need any help on that, we are always here for those kinds of conversations. It's what we do.
So we will see you guys. And then also we will be back next week at a regular time, the K&L Effect, every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be sharing what that topic is. That is top secret right now. So we're not going to share that right now.
We don't even
because we don't want anyone out there stealing our ideas. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see you guys next week. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.
It was fun playing with you today, Kevin.
It has been fun. It's always fun.
Always.
Bye.